Do you know how important is the reading skill? It is very important. If you develop the habit of reading properly, then you will one step ahead to learn how to speak English. Many people who want to develop themselves as an English speaker, they make several mistakes, and one of them is not developing the habit of reading. I would give you 3 tips that will help you to develop your communication skills, especially spoken English. The first one is reading. Develop the habit of reading loudly, as loud as you can. Because when you develop the habit of reading, it helps your jaw, it helps your throat, it helps your palate, it helps your tongue to practice. And that is very important to practice, because if you don't practice, you cannot learn any skill. I would like to give you a very live example. You have both hands, but are you able to write properly in a fast manner with both the hands? The answer is definitely no. If you are a right-hander, you can write fast, easier and very smooth with your right hand, but you cannot write with your left hand. In the same manner, if you are a lefty, then you can write very easily with your left hand, and you cannot do writing work with your right hand. Why? Because you have practiced with that one hand properly. Everything is in your mind, but you are unable to write with the opposite hand. In the same manner, speaking is also required some of the skills of speaking. So until you are not able to speak properly, you should develop the habit of reading. And do mind it, read loudly the way I am speaking right now in front of you. And the second thing you must develop is the habit of writing. Develop the habit of writing a diary. Every night when you go to bed, don't forget to write at least 1 page whatever you have done throughout the day. If you do so, you will develop how to frame sentences, you would recall the things throughout your day, and you would also recall some of the vocabulary that is stuck in your mind but you are not able to deliver it. Come to the third habit that is also very essential, and that is develop the habit of listening to the people who have already developed the habit of speaking. So those who are good communicator, listen to their podcast, listen any audio book, and you will learn how to frame sentences with that habit as well. So as I promised in the beginning of the video, I'm going to read a story for you. By this story, you would learn 2 things. One, how to read. The second thing, the moral of the story. This story is about a little firefly. And at the end of the story, this firefly proves that every tiny thing is important, provided that that tiny thing wants to prove its importance. So enjoy this lovely story. The story is about a little firefly. You must know what a firefly is. The name of the story is The Brave Little Firefly. Once upon a time, in a magical forest, there lived a tiny firefly named Flicker. Flicker was very smaller than all other fireflies, and his light wasn't as bright as theirs. While the other fireflies would fly up the night sky, Flicker often felt shy and stayed behind. Once evening, the forest usually was dark because the moon was hidden behind the thick cloud. All the animals were nervous. They couldn't see anything. The wise old owl hooted, "We need someone to light the way through the forest to help the little animals get home." The big fireflies buzzed around but didn't want to fly deep into the dark forest. "It's too scary for them," they said. Flicker, hearing this, felt a flutter in his tiny wings. Even though his light wasn't very bright, he wanted to help. "I will go," Flicker said in a tiny but brave voice. The animal cheered, "Thank you, Flicker." As Flicker flew into the darkness, he thought about how scary it was, but he also thought about the little animals who needed him. He concentrated hard and tried his best to make his light shine. With every flap of his wings, Flicker light grew brighter and brighter. Soon the entire path through the forest was glowing. The animals followed Flicker's light safely to their homes. When Flicker returned, the whole forest was waiting for him. They cheered loudly, "Hurrah for Flicker, the bravest firefly." From that night on, Flicker was no longer shy. He learned that even the smallest light can shine the brightest when it is needed the most. The moral of the story: being small doesn't mean you can't do big things. Bravery comes from within. So, develop the habit of reading, guys. If you develop the habit of reading, you will be able to speak fluently. Best of luck.